Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can use super dragons here at Townhall 16 to 3-star any base. So here is the army composition that we are going to be taking a look at, and honestly it's incredibly simple. You're going to be using the majority of these troops as the main portion. Of course, that is going to be the super dragons and those balloons. Some of those other troops are going to help with the funneling as well as coming in with your heroes in that initial surge. Now when it comes to spells, you're going to be going very heavy actually on the free spells. This is to try and stop things like the monolith, single target infernos, even the town hall itself from locking on to your super dragons. When it comes to your clan castle troops, again we're going to be seeing another free spell coming in there, bringing our total up to 6 of them. A rage in there as well as a couple of other troops, of course, alongside that siege barracks, which again is going to be helping with that funnel. All 4 of our heroes going to be coming through here with what we think is the best equipment for them, but of course, as always, if you can see any better equipment for them, you might have something else leveled up higher, of course you are more than welcome to go with that. But let's jump over and break down this attack. So the first thing we're going to be doing with this strategy is identifying a section of the base that we're going to be able to use our heroes on to take out. Typically this is going to be a section that includes something like a enemy royal champion, enemy queen, a scatter shot, an air defense, even sometimes the monolith if you can grab it, but more often than not that's going to be a little bit tricky. But we'll jump in here and we're going to take a look at this one. First things first, starting off with that queen's ability, you'll see shooting that giant arrow all the way across the base. 9 times out of 10 you're going to be looking to take down one of 2 things. That's either going to be air defenses, which we actually took out 2 of them right here with that giant arrow, or the air sweepers. If you can grab a sweeper, it's always going to be beneficial, but sometimes just taking out those air defenses, reducing some of that high DPS on your super dragons and balloons is definitely going to be beneficial. King's ability you'll see getting popped off at that top section of the base. That's going to open up those wall sections, allow the king and the queen both to enter into the base just a little bit. Their job just to clean out some of those defenses and help to set the funnel. And if we cast our eyes over to the opposite section of the base, you'll see in here we have, of course, the siege barracks going to be coming on through. That is going to be in there to help create the funnel on the opposite side of the base. Once you have got both of those deployed, you can go ahead and you can start to get those super dragons coming in. You're also going to be deploying your Grand Warden. Of course, make sure you set him to air. That's very important. We don't want him on ground getting taken down by any of those ground-based defenses. Your Royal Champion is also going to be coming in alongside those super dragons, though typically it's much better just to delay them a little bit, because that Royal Champion can get out in front even with the help of that Spirit Fox, and she can sometimes just take a little bit too much damage. Her Electro Boots though are really beneficial with this attack. If you have them unlocked, I would highly recommend using them because they help to take down any air skeletons, they help to take down clan castle troops, they even help to deal with enemy heroes. They're just a very versatile piece of equipment, and of course getting that aura damage around your Royal Champion always going to be of benefit. Now we've not really talked about your spell usage, so we'll jump into that in this next attack, because this attack, as you can see, is so unbelievably quick. We're going to be able to crush through this base quicker than I can even commentate on this attack. So it's super strong, and we'll jump straight into the next example. So progressing through onto this second one, you'll see again we have that monolith pretty centered here, which isn't ideal, but we're going to make do. This time we opt to take down both of the sweepers, which were here and here, rather than any of these air defenses. So like I said, it's honestly personal preference. If you think those sweepers are going to cause you an issue, I would definitely recommend trying to take them down if at all possible. If you think, yeah, those sweepers aren't really going to cause me too many issues from where I'm entering the base, you can go ahead and you can try and snipe off some of those air defenses with that giant arrow on the queen. This time, unfortunately, our queen not quite playing ball. She does walk off to the opposite side of the base, while our king is left all by himself. Of course, as always, siege barracks going to be coming in from that top section of the base, and then we're going to get all of those super dragons, all of those balloons, all coming in together. As soon as you're starting to get into a more heavier section of the base, this is of course any section that might have single target infernos, air defenses, enemy heroes, the monolith, anything like that, you're going to want to go ahead and use the Eternal Tome ability from your Grand Warden. Of course, you also have that Healing Tome just to help boost those troops as they progress through the center of the base. Now, looking towards our spell usage, you'll see we actually tend to hold on to the majority of our free spells for slightly further on into the base. This is because our Grand Warden's ability carries pretty hard at the start alongside the rage spells, and of course most of our troops are typically on full HP as we begin to enter into the base. But as you progress through the back end, this is when your spell usage is going to become very beneficial. Using those free spells on things like the Monolith, single target Infernos, the Townhall itself, as we are doing right here, just allows us, even sometimes with that rage spell, to guarantee the Townhall takedown as well as securing some of the other more difficult buildings. But honestly, on this one, we still have, it looks to be 4 super dragons left alive, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this strategy. It's unbelievably powerful. 9 times out of 10 you're going to be bringing in those triples, and of course, as always, the link for this strategy is down in the description below if you would like to pick it up. So let's hop in to that third and final example, where once again we're going to be coming in with that giant arrow shooting all the way through the core of the base. This time it looks like we are able to catch both of the sweepers and 2 of the air defenses, so getting a huge amount of value there from the giant arrow this time around. Our king's actually going to be coming in combination with the siege barracks because we have a much heavier right hand section of the base, a lot more buildings to try and get through, and with the help of his ability we are also going to be able to open up a few more sections and potentially push in towards this multi-target Inferno. Now, we do have a skeleton spell in play in this attack, and primarily the objective with that skeleton spell is to tank for the Monolith. But in this particular example, we end up actually using it to tank for the enemy world champion, hopefully just allowing our queen to pick up a little bit more DPS as she pushes through into the center of the base. It does end up taking down that enemy world champion, which is super beneficial. Freezing up things like the invisibility towers is always, of course, going to be helpful, because if that town hall or whatever defense it might be becomes invisible, sometimes you may be under a little bit of a problem. But we're just going to continue throwing down those free spells on anything that could cause our troops any high DPS. So of course we had enemy heroes in there, we opted to freeze them up as well. Royal Champion carrying pretty hard here in the back end, the Electro Boots doing some really nice work, but we do still yet again actually have 5 super dragons left up in this attack, showing just how strong this one can be. So first things first, I'd like to thank you guys for 1,000 subscribers. It's been quite the journey to get here. I actually started this channel at the start of the year and we've now managed to hit 1,000 subscribers. The channel is still growing at a pretty unbelievable rate, so thank you all so much for the support. I am, as always, looking for your advice and opinions. If you have strategies that you've not yet seen on the channel and you'd like to see them, then of course let me know down in the comments. I'm always looking for suggestions and always trying to bring you guys the most up-to-date and best content I possibly can. So thank you as always for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.